That's right, the Flash. One of my favorite DC characters, and we have seen him a couple of times on the silver screen and the big screen. And I thought it would be really fun to recast the Flash, seeing as it's my favorite DC TV show. So guys, you know what time it is. Let's get it. Hello my little nerd army, welcome back to another episode of Nerd News. This is a show created for nerds by a nerd. Nerds need to stay hydrated, guys. Thank you guys for all the comments, by the way. You are the reasons why I'm doing these episodes, because your comments are fantastic. Plus, everyone out there that's commenting, your fan casting choices are top notch, so keep them coming, guys. I appreciate it. But before we speed up in today's episode, I had to do a little speed pun in there somewhere. If this is your first time here, I would highly suggest, if you select that like, the subscribe, and the notification bell so that you can be notified of all the things as I create them here in the laboratory, aka my second bedroom. I realized my light was a little off. See how that works. So when it comes to The Flash, I am a huge fan of Greg Gustin and the TV show that those cats did out there at CW. Now the show is already on its 7th season, and the writers on that show pay amazing homage and great detail to the comics and the old Flash TV show that came before it. I mean, they took such weird characters. The Flash has really weird villains, by the way. But they took such an oddball character in Captain Cold and made him one of the coolest characters on that show, if not the coolest, next to the Reverse Flash and Zoom and Savitar. So then when we saw the Justice League was happening and we saw that Ezra Miller was cast as the Flash, it intrigued me. I wasn't really a fan of the suit, but it's okay, maybe it'll grow on me. I like Ezra Miller as an actor, let's see if he will do good in the role. You know where this is going. Was not a fan of the suit, and I did not like Ezra Miller in that role. Listen, like I said, he's a great actor, but he played that role really comedic, like really funny, and yes, there should be some humor because Barry Allen is really, mouthy, but he's not like, oh, Aquaman just face planted. He hated that. Sorry, I just removed Aquaman, so let's continue on. But like I said, he was very slapstick comedy in that, and I just didn't, that wasn't the Barry Allen that I know. Granted, Greg Gustin really put a complex kind of spin on the character, which he's gone through a lot, so I get it, and I applaud Greg Gustin's acting choice for Barry Allen. But for this list, obviously we're going to cast, not everyone, just a couple of the main players of the story. And those characters are Eobard Thawne / the Reverse Flash, Captain Cold, of course, Jay Garrick, the old-timer himself, Iris West, and of course Barry Allen, aka the Flash. So let's start this list off with a character that I mentioned at the beginning because he's just so darn cool. That was a pun, and I didn't even mean for that to happen. Man, I'm on it today. We're gonna start with Captain Cold. So Captain Cold, aka Leonard Snart, yeah, that's right. His real name is Leonard Snart. That's not intimidating at all. Now, Leonard Snart is the leader of the Rogues, a loose criminal assassination group. And the thing about Captain Cold, he has this cold gun, hence that's why they call him Captain Cold. He freezes everything in his path and gets exactly what he wants because he is the coolest. Pun intended again. Man, I see what you did there. Now, in the TV show, Captain Cold was played by Wentworth Miller. If that name sounds familiar to you, he is well known for the show that was on ABC, I think, at the time, or NBC. One of the two, the show Prison Break. Now, Wentworth's take on Captain Cold was great. I mean, he was dry, he was sarcastic, he was a little cocky. It was everything that made Captain Cold Captain Cold. So we need an actor who can, have that playfulness, but still demand the room, still be the leader of this organization, but you can still be like, okay, man, you have this really neat, just air to you that you just want to be around, but I don't want to, I don't want to push you, freeze me, I just want to be your friend, I'll help you, what do you need? So that's why I am going to cast actor Wes Bentley. Now, Wes is well known for American Beauty and The Hunger Games. Now, he's a very talented actor. He takes himself to dark places to find exactly the essence of the characters that he plays. And his performance in American Beauty did just that. He was this weird, offbeat character who you kind of like, who you're kind of weirded out of, and then he was talking about how beautiful that floating bag is, and then you realize this guy's crazy. I think he's a perfect actor for Captain Cold. Obviously, yes, he would look with the part when you dress him up. Anyone can look the part when you dress them up. I mean, I look like Captain Cold. Now, I think Wes would fit this character perfectly. He has all those tangibles of being this weird, interesting, quirky leader that people will follow, and he has this demanding quality about him. I don't know if it's his eyes, but he has this stare. It is very cold. It's like he's looking through you, do you know what I mean? And it freaks me out, but at the same time, you're like, this guy is pretty neat. So Wes, strap on your freeze ray. You are my Captain Cold. Okay, next let's move on to Barry's love, aka his wife, in that of Iris West. Now I'm gonna go back and forth between the CW show and my casting, because I'm not even gonna touch what they did with Ezra Miller. Blah. So Iris West is played by Candice Patton on the CW show, and honestly, I love what they did with that character on the show. She brings this fun, strong-willed woman that can take care of herself, but when it comes time that she needs Barry, you see that love that she has for Barry. They really portrayed their relationship, their connection perfectly, and you believed that they're in love and you care about them when one of them is in danger. It's pretty cool. But I think they can build on this character. I think if they're going to introduce Iris West in a Flash, or when the Flash solo movie does happen, they need to build that relationship up. They need to be friends first like they did in the show, and then over time fall into this romance that we see and we know to this day. And with that, I think I found an actress who can really borderline that dramatic to that really playfulness side in that of Kat Graham. Now, Kat is best known for playing Bonnie on The Vampire Diaries. And yes, I have watched that show with my wife, and I am definitely Team Damon all the way. The Vampire Diaries is where I first knew of this actress. Now, in that show, her character goes through a bunch of character arcs, different ranges of emotion, from like being this upbeat teenager to this, oh, I have witch powers, oh no. Going deeper into that world, and then people in her life start dying, and then she just goes up and down. She understands the complexity of a character like that. And as that show was on for 7 years, you could also see the progression of her as an actress throughout the seasons. And Iris does go through a lot in the comics and a lot on the TV show, and I think you need an actress who can slowly introduce these little elements of her character arc and just build upon something till we get to a point where we care so much about Iris that we're like, Barry, help her, Barry. So Kat, you are my Iris West. Okay, next let's go back to a villain, and that of Eobard Thawne, aka the Reverse Flash. Now, Eobard was one of my favorite villains going into this show. Other great villains were introduced, but just going back to season 1 and even season 2, it was just the way that they wrote it, it was just great. He's a great character in the comics and the show, it was amazing. I mean, the whole mystery of who is the Reverse Flash was a fun way to introduce new people that have never seen the Flash into this kind of like superhero mystery show. It was great. Plus, let's not forget Tom Cavanagh's performance as Eobard Thawne. He's just a fantastic actor. Now, I want an actor who is physically intimidating as well as mentally intimidating. Someone who can, you can trust, but at the same time, you're like, I don't know, there's just something about you, I just can't put my finger on it. Also, he needs to be a little bit older, not so old where it's like, I'm casting Clint Eastwood or John Travolta in the role. So that's why I am casting Michael Fassbender. Now, Michael is best known for a lot of things. I mean, he's no stranger to the superhero genre. He was Magneto in 3 of the X-Men movies. He was also in the live-action version of Assassin's Creed, which wasn't that bad. Now, Michael has a huge range when it comes to his set skills as an actor. He's done some fantastic roles, a lot of roles that are just kind of up and down. I mean, he's very good at dramatic roles. A good example of this is when he played Steve Jobs. In that movie, he understands just the smallest lines can mean so much, you know what I mean? And taking these little moments in the script and kind of making them, flourish is exactly what a character like Eobard Thawne needs. I mean, granted, I don't know what they're gonna do when it comes to the script, what timeline, what are they gonna do, but if they do the whole thing of who is the Reverse Flash, having those little clue moments without telling the audience, it's me, I think he can do that. And like I said, he's no stranger to action movies. He's done a lot of great movies. I mean, 300, come on. And just picture Michael Fassbender in that yellow Flash costume. Perfect. So Michael, suit up. You are my Reverse Flash. Okay, next let's move on to the old timer, and that of Jay Garrick. So if you don't know who Jay Garrick is, he's the first character to ever don the title of the Flash. So he was the first, he was the OG. Now Jay's history and his backstory with the things that he's seen, the things that he's done, he is a dad for Barry since, his dad was in jail. The fantastic John Wesley Shipp played Jay Garrick on the TV show, and he was just absolutely fantastic. Also, side note, he also played Barry Allen in the 1991 TV show way back in the day. So he's played Jay Garrick and Barry Allen. That's pretty cool. So of course we need an older actor, one that can still have that like father figure type, that is seasoned, who is experienced, who can have those like moments of wisdom. It's like, Barry, I've been there before, let me tell you what I did. So that's why I'm casting Bruce Greenwood. Now Bruce is best known for playing Captain Pike in J.J. Abrams' Star Trek films. The way that Captain Pike in that movie took care of Kirk was that fatherly tough love kind of vibe, you know what I mean? He cared about Kirk, he was very rough on him, but at the same time he had a soft spot in his little space heart because of who his dad was and who he knew Kirk could become. And his age fits Jay Garrick perfectly, and he can still have that same attitude, that same kind of tone, just change it up just a little bit for Jay Garrick, and it is a perfect fit. A match made in steel helmet. He wears a steel kind of, let's move on. So Bruce, you are my #1 man. You are the #1 man in Jay Garrick. So now on to the man himself, the fastest man alive, in that of Barry Allen. So like I said in the beginning, Grant Gustin is right now the only actor that I want to see play this character. So I was looking through a slew of different actors. There are so many A-list actors that could play this role, but a lot of them just didn't seem to fit. You know what I mean? Like, there's something off about it. And then I realized why I like Grant so much. At the time, he was a relatively unknown actor. He was on Glee. That was his big breakout role. So what I was thinking is you need to find an actor who, you know, who has work under his belt, who has a IMDb history, but one that's not so well known. You need someone a little bit unknown to kind of dive into this character that we all know and love. So if you scroll down my search history, you're gonna find who I selected as Barry Allen, and that is Ross Lynch. So who is Ross Lynch? Well, his most famous to date role is that of the remake of Sabrina the Teenage Witch that was on Netflix. Now Ross is a little bit younger, but that's fine. I wanted to find an actor who was a little bit younger than some of the other characters or some of the other actors, because if they flush a story out, which they should, this character will grow. Much like how Tom Holland's character as Spider-Man is growing from this boy, he's slowly becoming a man. He does have this playfulness to him, and I think just giving him quick dialogue and giving him that like really smart brain that Barry has, he could pull this off. Oh, also dye his hair blonde. And Russ being a little bit younger than my Iris West is fine, because it's one of those things where I wanted to see Barry being like, wow, this woman is amazing. I love this woman, but I can't. There's no way. She's not in my league. And then, you know, there's that character arc. So there's the stories within the other story, and it builds one cohesive, great Flash solo movie that I know can happen. And I've said this before, I think DC needs to take the Marvel route and hiring actors who are kind of known but not so well known, and then you make them a household name like Tom Holland. So I think give this man a shot. Give him some weights, dye his hair blonde, put on that suit, give him quick dialogue. He could be a really, really good Barry Allen. He just needs a chance to prove that he can do it. Well, that is it, guys. That is my Flash Fancast episode. Thank you for sticking around with me. I appreciate it. And if you agree with my choices, please let me know in the comments below, and I want to know who you would like to cast in The Flash. And until next time, guys, I'm gonna leave you with another joke because I'm enjoying these jokes. So why did the Flash stay home from work? He had a Captain Cold.